Well, hello and welcome to the Shallow Proclamation. My name is Paul, and as always, I'm joined by
Thomas in person.
Thomas in person, Paul in person. Here we are, and we are about to watch the next story, The Web of Fear. So, few facts before we do this. We always give a few little facts about the story. So, it's broadcast the 3rd of February to the 9th of March, 1968. And it was written by Mervyn Haseman and Henry Lincoln, directed by Douglas Camfield. So Douglas Camfield, have we had a few by him already?
That name definitely.
I know the
rings
name.
A bell.
He certainly becomes quite a big director for the show later on. We've also got Peter Bryant coming in as full-time producer for this story, so it might begin to feel a little bit different over the next few episodes. And this story, we've got a six-parter, but for sort of 40 years, only episode 1 existed. And then in October 2013, episodes 2, 4, 5 and 6 were returned to the BBC along with The Enemy of the World that we just watched. So remember, I said about The Enemy of the World that was like part of the 50th anniversary celebrations, that being released. This was the other story that was found almost in its entirety afterwards. So I think when they released it on iTunes in 2013, episode 3 still didn't exist, and as it still doesn't. And they released it as a telesnaps reconstruction. However, I think what we're going to see when we get to the episode 3 here is they've now released a animated version.
Right.
Saying that only came out in 2021, and I don't know whether BritBox has the animated episode on there, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah. So again, this is one of those ones, like I said, it was gone for a long time, but then has reappeared. So for me, it conjures up memories of the anniversary, 50th anniversary. But yeah, not one I've seen loads, to be honest, still. Having only got hold of it 10 years ago and honestly not having... I suppose I've just not had time to go back to it, really. But yeah, I think I'm generally quite positive about it and looking forward to it. So as always, though, give the channel a subscribe. If you haven't already, that'd be great. If you like the video, please give it a like. And of course, drop your comments down below about the episodes, and there's also a link in our description for our Discord server if you want to come and join our community and chat a bit more about these things there. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, should we dive in?
Let's do it.
Nice.
Oh, it's a bit loud, isn't it?
It's on.
It's working. The theme's always the loudest part, isn't it?
Yeah.
So picking up.
So we are picking up. A bit more brightness.
Yes, good idea.
Just think if we can see.
It's like there's nothing on the screen.
This is actually more drawn out than the other one, isn't it? Oh, so this is actually after. It's not like a recap, is it?
Right.
So.
What is that?
You don't recognise it?
Abominable Snowman.
Remember the name, Travers?
So it's cool to revisit a previous story, isn't it?
Yeah, and actually within the same season.
Hello.
The Sphere, there it is. It's interesting to have him back now. I mean, he was quite a rugged explorer, wasn't he? But now he's like an old man and he's slightly paranoid and fearful, given what's happened to him. It's like a PTSD thing.
Clinging on to this relic from the past. Oh,
that's nice.
All frozen.
Or is it?
Or is it spiderweb?
Yeah. Like a web, yeah.
The web.
The web.
Who are you? Knight. Never heard of you. Who? Captain Knight. Okay, Corporal.
Well, let's clarify that then. Captain Knight.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to Mr. Knight.
So, this is all a set.
No way.
And they applied to use actual stations, but they were denied by London Transport. But when this was shown, London Transport wrote to the BBC to complain that they'd filmed illegally.
Wow.
Because the sets were that good.
That's incredible. That's a bit of a compliment, isn't it? It's crazy to think they built all this for a story.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason they went for six-parters is, there's a big glut of six-parters here is because they wanted to keep the cost down. So
Right.
you could. It was worthwhile building something for 6 rather than 4.
Right, that does make sense.
Seems something a little weird about seeing Yetis with pistols. It's a kind of weird juxtaposition.
Yeah. Spider Yeti.
How many more?
Oh. That's cool how the whole thing lights up. Interesting. So we've got quite a lot going on there.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts so far coming out of episode 1?
Yeah, I thought it was quite a compelling. Yeah, I'm quite gripped by it. Oh, look at
Some
this.
web on the screen here.
Web.
That's nice.
I like the return of the Yeti, and I think the London Underground is a great location. I've wanted to see Doctor Who stories take place there because it's just something scary and claustrophobic about tunnels, isn't there? And the London Underground has quite a few, so I'm told.
Yep, known for its tunnels, really.
I don't really know what I make of the whole web shooting thing. Maybe that will sort of make more sense as we go. Yeah, it's... And like, how did the TARDIS get the webs on it? Like, was a Yeti there with a gun, or a spaceship with a gun firing it? But I'm sure all of this will be addressed.
Be revealed in time.
What did you make of it?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good first episode because, again, just kept me engaged. That's the main thing. If it keeps you engaged, then it must be doing a good job. But I love the underground setting as well. I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
It is a really atmospheric setting. And not only that, like I said, obviously for the fact it is a set, it looks amazing. And yeah, I think it's interesting to see like the Yeti come back quite quickly and have a returning character in like Travers and stuff. So I think that works really well. It's also got echoes to me of like when they come up to they get stuck behind the gate and they find the body and it says Londoners flee, menace spreads. Reminds me a bit of like Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Yes, it's
sort of a kind of deserted London, which I think really, even though we've not seen the city, we've really just seen a couple of tunnels of the underground. I think that the suggestion that the city has been deserted because of this menace is a really cool one. There's something about a deserted city, like,
Yeah.
and particularly if it's a recognisable location, and also interesting just to see the Yeti in a very different setting.
Yeah.
Because they you understand why that works in a Tibetan setting, don't you? So it's unusual to see them here and redesigned. I think they wanted to redesign them to make them a bit scarier. Although in my head, when I think of the Yeti, I tend to think of the ones from the Abominable Snowmen. They're the ones that sort of live in my mind rent-free.
Yeah.
And I do think I prefer the original design, even though they don't have as obvious eyes or, arms and claws or anything. For whatever reason. Maybe it's just because they're the ones I know best, but...
Wow, we got time for another one?
Yep, absolutely.
Nice.
So, yeah, we hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, let us know what you think of this one down below and join us soon for episode 2. Till then, bye-bye.
Goodbye.